Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second forum this evening with the two candidates for school board in District 2. I'm David Marin with the League of Women Voters. Happy to be here tonight, and we're co-hosting this forum with the Santa Paula Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to let everyone know we want to get your questions, so just raise your hand and one of our volunteers will bring over a card and a pencil, and you can write us a question. And then when you're ready for that card to be picked up, just raise your hand again. And you can turn in as many questions as you want. I'll try to get to as many as possible. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. But if you just came in, if you have a cell phone, please put it on vibrate or silent. So we are going to begin with opening statements. Daniel will go first, followed by Robin. And then at the end of the evening, I will reverse it. So Daniel, you have 1 minute whenever you're ready.
Good evening, citizens of Santa Paula. My name is Daniel Sandoval, Santa Paula High, class of '89. I am a third-generation Santa Paulan, born and raised, with an engineering degree from Caltech and a PhD from Cornell. I have a successful career as an IT business consultant and as a professor at Cal State Channel Islands. My goal in joining the board in 2020 was simple: change the culture of the board and the district to serve all students and treat our lack of progress as the real problem it is. Over the past 4 years, we have been able to create 160 seats for preschool students, provide hundreds of kids free access to after-school sports programs, invest heavily in training for reading and math instruction, and strengthen career programs in engineering, cybersecurity, and patient care, among others. We must continue to look to the future for our solutions. The way we've always done it hasn't worked. We will only be able to do that in partnership with our students, parents, staff, and community.
Thank you. Our next candidate is Robin Simon.
Simone,
excuse me, Robin.
that's okay, not a problem. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women's Voters and the Chamber of Commerce for putting this on for us this evening. This is the first opportunity for me, so it's a new learning experience and a new learning curve, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it, even though I'm just shaking. So, I am born Santa Paula, raised generational family, my mom, my dad, my husband David Gillette, that's whom I'm married with, he's Santa Paula. Parents, the same thing. Our children were graduates of Santa Paula High School, and I have grandbabies in the district. So I do have a very strong concern for our district and where we are going. I have 31 plus years in education. The majority of it is here in Santa Paula, and I went from teacher to a assistant principal.
Have to stop you there. Thank you. And Robin, we'll start with you on the first question. What do you believe is the greatest need for the school district, and how will you try to achieve that?
We have several needs. One of our needs is to be fiscally sound. And right now we are deficit spending, and that's frightening. And it has been going on now for the last 4 years. That's one of my greatest concerns. Another concern that I have is that we have lost revenue through our chronic absenteeism rate with the students that are not attending school. I figured it out through what the absentees were. And if you have, this is according to the CDE, we had 800 students that were 10%, which is a chronic absenteeism. It's $75 per day. Do the math, and we're over $500,000 that we're losing through attendance. And I know that they're here, they're just not attending. And we've lost about 30% in the last 4 to 5 years that go to other schools. And I'd like to know why have they gone to other districts? Is it because mom and dad are working in another district? Is it programs? Why are we not keeping our babies home? So those are some of my concerns. Those are my top 3, I would say.
Thank you. Daniel, same question to you. What is the greatest need for the district? How will you go about accomplishing or solving it?
So I think the first thing is our test scores, right? Reading and math is abysmal, especially for special education and English learners. So we have invested in changing how we teach, right? We've invested in our teachers. We've spent a lot of our COVID funds for that purpose. And in reading, we're already starting to see the benefits of that. In math, we're not sure yet because we haven't got the data, but that's number one. Number two is the outreach to our parents and community. We don't do a great job at it. We haven't. We have new funding, right, for outreach workers that are into the community, right, to talk to parents, right, to make sure that they're engaging with us and that we are engaging with them in return. And finally, yes, the budget is a problem, right? And I know this, and I'm the numbers guy on the board. I ask plenty of questions. I dig into the budget, right? It's complicated, right? There's a lot to it, but we need that understanding of where our funds are going, right? And we're going to have to prioritize. And I don't have any problems making the hard decisions. Some things may have to be cut to get us to a balanced budget. But, one other thing is that, attendance does matter, right? And so this year we've actually seen an increase from 91% to 95% because of the investments we've been making in outreach.
Thank you. Daniel, next question. We'll start with you. The questioner states that it seems like bonds have been going on forever here in Santa Paula. So what's your position on Measure N, the bond for the schools? And do you see an end to always coming back to the taxpayers?
Well, the bonds, right? So we ran two in March and they both failed. Not by much, but they failed. I do believe that we need to fund the capital improvements that our facilities need, right? However, we do have two more bonds, essentially the same bonds, a little bit different, right? And I advocated for us to go for lower rates for each one, right? Because I'd heard what the public had said. I actually did vote against one of them as well, because I didn't think we should be trying to do two again. The one that I did support, the high school bond, I still fully support it. I support the other one too. It's not like we think we're just going to get a pot of money and spend it willy-nilly. We do actually have plans for all of that money. At the high school, our performing arts, our band basically performs or practices in a basement, a crowded one at that. We need performing arts space. We need more career pathway space. We're instituting a trades program this year, and we're struggling to figure out a place to put it. So at the high school, we have a number of different projects that we have, and at the elementary schools, we're trying to rebuild Isabel, right, to get it to a place that's worthy of our middle school because it has been neglected, and other of our campuses.
Thank you. Robin, same question to you. What's your position on Measure N? Do you think we're in, or is there a way to stop coming back to the taxpayers for bonds?
Sadly, there was a discussion out in the back about the bonds, and individuals are beginning to feel like they're being tapped all the time. And we seem to be the poorest community in the county, yet we're the ones that are always asked to step up to the plate and give more and more. And it's a necessary evil with some, but I think really it's going to come back to we need to figure out where we are spending our money. Why are we deficit spending now? You can't keep deficit spending and then go to your taxpayers and say, I need more money. So that is the concern that I have. I do agree we need to expand our career tech programs. I think the programs that we have are wonderful. I think that we need to concentrate on our K through 3 for literacy, because if a student does not read by by third grade, it makes it more difficult for them. And there's been research on it that if they're not reading by third grade, they're going to have a tough time for the rest of their educational career. So I think we need to be very careful and selective as to where we want to put our monies, how we want to put our monies, and, look at it as a checkbook. Are we writing checks that we
Thank you,
can't
Robin.
keep?
Going to have to stop you there. Okay, candidates, we're going to start with you, Robin. On this one, share with us your views on test scores. So test scores have not been very good in math and not in English either. What do you think is the right approach to raise test scores?
Right, I was looking at them today again, and we're down on both, and math is actually the worst. What we're doing right now is obviously is not working. So I think instead of trying to put money where we've been working, we need to come into this and look at it with fresh eyes and a fresh technique for getting our kiddos to do well in reading and math. And part of it is we need them in school, and especially with those who are chronic. With the absenteeism, it doesn't help us in the long run. So as far as I look at it, we really do need to concentrate heavily K-3, 4, 5, and 6. And, once you get them set, I think, we will be okay.
Thank you. Daniel, same question to you. What can you do to raise test scores?
We're making the investments in the professional development that we need to happen so that we're teaching differently. For instance, in literacy, we've moved to the science of reading. Our second graders last year came in at about 10% proficiency. This year, they came in at 50%. We still have a ways to go, but that's the first real gains that we've had in a long time. The same thing with math. We're investing in something called CGI math, right? And again, we don't have the data yet, right? But the anecdotal data from the teachers is that it's making a difference. And yes, we have to concentrate, right, on all of our students, right, at those lower grades. But I've insisted that we break down these numbers as well for English learners and special education, because those are the two populations that are the worst, that are the farthest behind.
Thank you. And Daniel, we'll start the next one with you. So Santa Paula is, of course, a unified unified district, including the high school. What do you think of career education, trade school type work for students? How are you preparing our students for the modern economy?
This is something that's been passionate for me. I have been out in the community making partnerships with the Naval Base, with the VCMC, with Channel Islands, with Ventura College. We need those programs and those linkages so that we can start introducing our kids to the possibilities of what they can do, the good paying jobs that we know they can fill, right, from elementary school upward. Right. One of the things about a unified district is that we should be vertically integrated. This really does need to start with a purpose, right, in elementary school, through the middle school, and up to the high school, through our community college and our four-year institution. Right. So this is something like the trades, right, the cybersecurity, engineering, business, public safety, public service, all of those are pathways that we need to be investing in so that we can get good jobs for our kids.
Thank you. Robin, same question to you. What do you think are the right approaches to career education and preparing students?
Oh, I think it's very important. Years ago, I wrote a Prop 1D grant for a CTE program, and it was called ASTA, Engineering Science Technology Academy. And it was for $800,000 to use up there in the building that's on the corner of Virginia Terrace and 5th Street that is now going into being part of a pathway. It's being built as this. And I think it's very important. Not everybody's going to go to college, but there are degrees out there that students can get that are high-paying jobs. I met a young lady over the weekend. She goes to school up in the Central California area. She is working on a pharmaceutical certificate. She's a junior in high school, and they have integrated that as a CTE course. And when she finishes high school, she will also be able to go out and get a job. And she says, I'll be making about $100,000 a year. So it's
Going to
very
have to stop you
important.
there, Robin. Daniel, same question to you. Oh, yes. What do you think about, I'm sorry, I already did you on that. Okay.
I'll answer
It
again if
goes,
you'd
it
like.
goes a little faster with two candidates. I have to stay on my toes. Robin, you're up next on this next one. So one of the issues that's been on many people's mind here in Santa Paula for over about 18, 20 years is the community college district not building a campus for the students who are coming out of Santa Paula schools. What do you think you can do as a trustee to help persuade the college trustees to fulfill that promise of the 2002 bond measure?
Yeah, you're talking about the broken promise. All right. I'm also a member of the Latino Town Hall, and we've had several meetings, one with Steve Bennett. And that was exactly the topic that we spoke about, is the fact that, the broken promise, we don't have the college out here. And, there's a saying, if you build it, they'll come. And with the college, they want to have X amount of ADA and people to be all ready to prove that it's worthy of building our college. I will go to bat to have that college here. And I think it is something that's necessary. This is a program that we need. And I really wish that broken promise can, come to fruition, and that we will actually have it built out there on the east side. So I'm totally for it, and I'll go talk to anybody I need to.
Thank you, Robin. Daniel, same question to you. What can you do to persuade the trustees to fulfill that promise of a campus center?
Look, Santa Paula is used to empty promises, broken promises throughout the county, right? Our hospital just lost its OB unit. So, to think that, if we just ask hard enough that something's going to happen, right, is kind of on us, right? So, I don't want to wait another 10 years for a center to be open for our students, right, to be benefiting from it. So, I met with the Ventura College president last week, and we talked about how can we start doing program integration so that we can provide the things that the center will house eventually right now, because our students need that today, not 10 years from now. And I'm not going to wait for them to maybe buy land or maybe buy a center or maybe do a demographic study that says we can support it. Or we need those programs. We need the dual enrollment to be much stronger. We need career pathways through VC and successful.
All right, we're going to start with you, Daniel, on the next question. So one of the recent changes in state law is that school districts now can offer transitional kindergarten, which includes students who are 4 years old. And Daniel, what do you think is the what do you think needs to be done for the Santa Paula Unified School District to support these 4-year-olds? Are there new facilities, new staff? Share with us your vision for TK.
When TK first came online about 4 years ago, our board decided to fully fund any kid who was 4 years old, right, to go to TK, even though the state was rolling it out in 2-month, increments, right? So only a portion of students were able to get paid for TK, excuse me, but we supported the rest of them. I think early childhood education is important. I've worked with the Project Isabella for 5 years at this point. We've created 160 seats of preschool, right? Those preschool students most often will transition into transitional kindergarten, right? Anytime we can get kids further along in their education at a young age, the better they're going to perform as they get into our school system in our first, second, and third grades and beyond.
Thank you. Robin, share with us your vision of TK.
You know what? I can't argue with Daniel about any of this. I truly believe in early childhood education. Both of my daughters, by the time I could hardly wait for them to become 2 years old, because, we were in preschool. It was selective. There was an educational component. And as far as I am concerned, this is a great investment in our future. And this is something that we need to fund. and this is something that we need to keep working with. So this has my complete approval.
Thank you. Robin, next question, we'll start with you. So we talked a little bit about career education and trade. Now let's talk about preparing students for college. What can be done, what do you think needs to be done inside the school district to prepare our students to go on to college, whether that's community college transfers or direct to 4 years, and increase that graduation rate? So share with us your vision for increasing college transfers and graduation.
All right. I believe down at the junior high, they've started bringing in the college philosophy. This is something that, you know, it's programming our kiddos as to what is out there, what is available, but we also need to make sure that our parents are educated on what this means for their students and for them as a family. As far as our students go from the junior high, I think there needs to be a pipeline that would go up with that in mind up through the high school level, and then also do work programs that we have. And then there's also the Promise for Ventura College, and then there are also acceptance programs for our students to be able to be ready to go into the college after graduation from high school.
Thank you. And Daniel, same question to you.
Well, as a college professor at Cal State Channel Islands, I see a lot of the students that, you know, we prepare, and honestly, they're not. Right? I have to do a lot of remedial work at the college level, which is extremely unfortunate. Right? I think part of it is that we do need to expose our kids early. Right? We have a lot of first-generation college students coming onto campus, and they don't know how to navigate the culture. Right? They don't feel like they belong. They don't get exposed to the same opportunities as someone who comes from a family that has, you know, college in their background, right? So we have to do that, right? We also have to get, we pat ourselves in the back because 70% of our kids go to college, 70% of those go to VC. Only 10% of those actually graduate a 4-year degree. We need to demand accountability at the college, you know, community college level, so that they can transfer. And maybe that means they have to go to the 4-year university first, right? Channel Islands is a very, you know, good institution.
Thank you, Daniel.
With good value.
Stop you there. Okay, Daniel, this question I want to drill down into. Do you believe there are partnerships that can be formed within the educational world to help collaborate with Santa Paula? What would you support there? And also, what are your views about the fiscal management of the superintendent?
2 questions there. The first is that one of the cornerstones of my philosophy are partnerships. The school district cannot do it alone. We have a strong partnership with Legal Base Ventura College. We have a strong partnership with Westminster Clinic, right, with Ventura County Medical Center, right, with Channel Islands, right, with VC, where we're starting to build that again, right? I've been instrumental in a lot of those partnerships, right, and among others. So I'm always looking, I think it's part of my role as a board member to look for those partnerships with other people. As far as fiscal management and the superintendent, I wish we were in better shape, right? And that's the truth of the matter, right? I'm on the budget committee with a fellow board member, and we are asking the tough questions. Where is the money going to come from? Because we can't continue to deficit spend. We do have some reserve, but we don't want to spend it all, right?
Thank you. And Robin, share with us your views about engaging with educational partners and the fiscal situation and how the superintendent manages the money.
Okay, once again, this rolls around to our CTE and the career choices that our students can have out here. It's, to me, it's worthwhile, it's important. I think we need to be able to expose our student body to as many avenues as possible so that they can understand that it's just, you know, you're not living in a community, you're not just living in Santa Paula that is 4.2 square miles. There is another world and a life out there, and I think we need to have due diligence in exposing them to this. We need to be able to work with other companies to bring them in, and we need to be able to guide our students and their parents to what the possibilities are. It's not just, an open case. So as far as the fiscal management, all I've heard for the last couple of years is we're in deficit spending, and that does.
Okay. So Robin, you're up next, and I have 2 questions left, and then I will have done all of them. I'm going to give you both of them, because this is our last set of questions. So share with us your views on 2 things. What is your plan and views on supporting mental health needs of students? And what are your thoughts and plans to offer some type of adult education for those people in the community who may not have graduated school? So mental health, how would you address it? Adult education, can you offer services there?
Yes and yes. Okay. Mental health, I know that we have done some restructuring with our mental health. We have mental health counselors. We have individuals at the sites that the students are able to go and speak to when they are feeling that they're needing somebody, they're anxious, or something has happened. So I feel that we have made great strides in taking care of mental health with our students. And I think as long as we keep abreast of what's going on and what the new trends are and what the professionals in mental health are telling us, and we work with them, I think we will have, I think our students are going to be, will prosper from this. So I do agree with this. As far as adult education, I taught an adult education program years ago. We do have an adult education program. It's a pretty, it's a viable program. We used to be out on different sites.
Stop you there. I know I gave you 2 hard things in 1 minute, but thank you. And Daniel, same question to you, your views on mental health and also adult education.
Our students have mental health crises, or we're in a mental health crisis with our students. There's no doubt. We have invested as a board over the past 4 years in a number of new mental health counselors. We have partnered with BC Behavioral Health to varying success, right? Oftentimes the wait list is terrible, so the burden gets shifted back to the district, and we've been trying to meet that need as much as possible. We've created wellness centers, right? Kind of mental health triage, right? At the high school, at the middle school, and we have the first one in the county at an elementary school. So we're creating a community school, which will help support the families as well as the students, right, with different services that our community needs. And as far as adult education, we need a revamp. Our adult education does not meet our adults' needs. You know, we did bring in a trades program, not to us, but to the city, right, because we couldn't handle it. And that's kind of a shame, right? We need that kind of investment in our adults.
And we will begin our closing statements. So Robin, when you're ready, you have 1 minute for your closing statement.
Wow, this felt like a whirlwind. Anyway, once again, thank you. I want to let you know that I've worked in almost every one of these areas, from kindergarten up through, yes, adult education. And I have a plethora of experience in each and every one. I'm a hard worker. I believe in us as a community. I believe in our school system. I think that we are, like the Jim Collins book says, good, but I believe we can get to great. And I think if we keep pushing forward, that this will come to fruition. I do like to see some accountability in different areas as to how our money is being spent, and not to double up and spend $50,000 on 2 identical programs.
Thank you. I have to stop you there. And our next candidate, Daniel Sandoval.
There is no more important institution in the school district for this city. If we don't get it right, our city will thrive, and our students need help. Right? What we've always done is not working for the majority of our students. We need board members that have experience outside of TK, right, or K-12 education to give a different perspective on how we serve our students. We have great students, but we haven't provided all of them the tools they need to be successful. We have great staff, but we haven't always listened to them or supported their growth. We have great parents, but we haven't always invited them to the table or allowed them to participate in their child's education. I've worked hard to create a change in our culture, starting at the board level and the district administration. We have a lot of work to do still, and hard decisions need to be made. I am not tied to the past. I don't have any other agendas, except for the only one a board member should have: success for all of our students. Right? Let's look to the future for solutions, not to the past.
Thank you very much. How about a round of applause for these candidates?